Hello everyone and welcome to lesson 24.1C. I've entitled this video, New Zealand's Landforms and Waterways. This video is going to cover pages 735 to 736. New Zealand's Landforms and Waterways. New Zealand is made up of two main islands called North Island and South Island, plus many small islands. These islands are located in the southeastern Pacific Ocean, far from any other land masses. Geographers believe that more than 60 million years ago, movements within the lithosphere pushed the land that would become New Zealand up out of the ocean. Over time, processes within the lithosphere and hydrosphere shaped the land. The movement of ice and liquid water has carved out basins and eroded rocks into unusual shapes. Volcanic eruptions and earthquakes created low hills, fertile valleys and plains, and rows of sharp mountain peaks. Question number 1. What makes up the country of New Zealand? Well, you have two main islands, North Island and South Island, and then some other small islands. Question 2. Where is New Zealand located? Well, it's by Australia, but it's in the southeastern Pacific Ocean, far away from many other places in the world. Question 3. How has New Zealand been shaped by the Earth and Earth's processes? Well, the Earth's processes over time have occurred within the lithosphere and hydrosphere in the sense that it got pushed the land through into what would be called New Zealand today. And then once it was there, you have the movement of ice and liquid water, which has definitely made the landscape change with basins and rocks in unusual shapes. And then you have volcanic eruptions and earthquakes, which have created the other portions of the land and how it's been impacted by those processes. Today, 1/3 of New Zealand's lands are protected as national parks and nature reserves. The country is known for its beautiful and unusual landscapes. New Zealand's main islands are similar in that both have many forests, mountains, and waterways. Local climates and other types of landforms, however, show the differences between the two islands. Question number 4. How are 1/3 of New Zealand's lands protected? Well, through national parks and nature reserves. Many of North Island's landforms were created by volcanic activity. A huge volcanic plateau makes up the center of North Island. Lake Taupo, the largest lake in New Zealand, pictured here, formed millions of years ago in the massive crater left behind by a devastating volcanic eruption. Lake Taupo is surrounded by fertile plains and valleys. This land is enriched by volcanic soil, which makes good farmland and pasture for grazing. North Island's most productive farm and pasture lands are located in a region called Waikato. Question number 5. How was Lake Taupo created? It was created by a crater that was left behind by a devastating volcanic eruption. So the volcanic eruption occurs, and then of course you have this huge crater, and it's filled in by the water. Question 6. Why is the land around Lake Taupo great for farming and grazing? Well, because it has been enriched by volcanic soil, and that is good soil for growing crops. Northeast of Lake Taupo is Rotorua, an area famous for its steaming hot springs, bubbling mud pools, and violent geysers. Hot springs are pools of hot water that occur naturally. Hot springs form in rocky areas when rainwater seeps into cracks in Earth's surface. Water is exposed to intense heat and then bubbles back up to gather in surface pools, and you can see that pictured bottom left. Geysers, pictured bottom right, are hot springs that sometimes shoot hot water out of the ground. The water in hot springs and geysers is warmed by heat energy from deep within Earth. Question number 4. What is Rotorua famous for? Its steaming hot springs, its bubbling mud pools, and its violent geysers. Question 8. What are hot springs? Those are pools of hot water that happen in nature. They form in rocky areas when rainwater gets into the cracks of Earth's surface, and the water is exposed to intense heat, and it bubbles back up, and it gathers in those pools. Question number 9. What are geysers? Geysers are hot springs that sometimes shoot hot water out of the ground. And both the water in hot springs and geysers are warmed by that geothermal energy, heat energy, deep within our Earth. New Zealand's South Island is famous for its spectacular southern Alps, pictured in the top right. These towering mountains are higher than the mountains on North Island. The Southern Alps cover hundreds of miles along the western side of South Island. The southern end of South Island is filled with an incredible variety of landforms and environments. Millions of years ago, the movement of glaciers cut deep valleys into the rocky land. As the glaciers melted, clear, cold lakes formed. Some glacier valleys were so deep they were not completely filled until rising sea levels flooded them with ocean water more than 6,000 years ago. These water-filled landforms are called fjords. The fjords of South Island are such fascinating landforms that many are preserved with a huge national park. And you can see the fjords pictured bottom right, and also how a fjord is formed right here with this diagram. Question number 10. What towering mountains are found on New Zealand's South Island? The Southern Alps. Question 11. What are fjords? Fjords are these areas, these glacier valleys that were so deep that they couldn't be filled in just with the glacier melting, and so they got filled in with rising sea level water, and it forms these magical fjords that are protected in many places with national parks to make sure that we don't lose these spectacular portions of Earth. Well, thank you so much for watching. Before we go, I've got to leave you with this. Welcome to New Zealand, like Australia, but without all the death. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.